Hello everyone, my name is Vrunal Vikas Masurkar and I'm going to present what a Batcher Banyan Network is and how it works using an example. So what is a Batcher Banyan Network? The Batcher Banyan Network comprises of two parts, that is, the Batcher sorter and the Banyan network. The Batcher sorter is a bitonic sorter that sorts the input cells in a monotonically increasing order, which in turn generates a gap-free increasing sequence for the input ports. It results in solving the contention issues faced by the delta network. The Banyan network is a multi-stage interconnection network which is used as a switching fabric. In the Banyan network, there exists only one path from each input port to each output port. Both of the Batcher sorter and the Banyan network together form the Batcher Banyan network, and this diagram displays the layout of the network. Now, let's understand the functioning of the Batcher Banyan network using an example. As you can see, there exists only one path from each input port to each output port, and all the input cells are arranged sequentially by the Batcher sorter. Let's consider input port number 2. Input port number 2 consists of the value 3, and the packet 3 will traverse this path to reach the first cell column. Once it reaches the first cell column, the switching fabric checks the binary equivalent of the input value. Here we have the input value of 3 and its binary equivalent is 0, 1, 1. So at the first cell column, logic 0 will be considered, and using logic 0, the packet 3 will be routed to the upper part of the cell in this way. As you can see, the packet 3 has routed to the upper part of the cell, and then it routes to the middle cell column using this path. At the middle cell column, the switching fabric will again check the binary equivalent of the input value, and now it will consider logic 1, and as the input is logic 1 at the middle column, the packet will trace the lower route of the cell. As you can see, the packet has traced the lower route of the middle cell and then will trace this path to reach the final cell column. At the last cell column, the switching fabric will check again the binary equivalent of the input value and now will consider logic 1 as its input. Using logic 1, similarly, it will take the lower route of the cell and reach its destined output port. As we saw on the previous slide, this slide displays that a packet has reached its destined output port. Now let us consider another example to bring some more clarity in the functioning of the network. Now let us choose input port number 5, which has the input value of 6. The packet 6 will now traverse through this route to reach the first cell column. At the first cell column, the switching fabric will consider the binary equivalent of 6, which is 1, 1, 0, and at the first cell column, logic 1 will be considered. Using logic 1, like the previous example, packet will trace the lower route of the cell and move onto the second column using this path. As you can see, the packet has been routed using the lower path of the cell. At the middle column, the switching fabric will again check the binary equivalent of 6, and now it will consider logic 1 as its input. Using logic 1, the packet will traverse the lower route in the cell. As you can see, the packet traversed to the lower route in the cell and now will move to the last column using this route. And the last column in the network, the switching fabric will again consider the binary equivalent of the input value, but now it will consider logic 0 as its input. Using logic 0, the packet will traverse through the upper route of the cell and reach its desired destination. As you can see, our packet has traversed through the upper path and reached its desired destination port. This method is followed for the path selection of all the input packets. Following the logic of the Batcher Banyan network, problems of performance degradation, path contention, and output port contention are eliminated. This slide displays the output of implementation of the Batcher Banyan network. I have used Scala programming language to implement this program. The first step here is the user input, which is the number of random input values to be generated. The random generator uses the input value to generate a list of non-consecutive values. These values are then passed to the batcher sorter. The batcher sorter then sorts the random values in a sequential order. Finally, this program uses the Batcher-Banyan switching fabric logic to route the input port values to their desired destination port. In this way, the functioning of the Batcher-Banyan network is carried out. Thank you.